Hello and welcome back to Big G's Railroad Channel. Today I'm going to bring you hobby store finds on vacation. I wound up just recently coming back from vacation with my wife. We took a trip down to Hilton Head, South Carolina. Had a lot of fun, and on the way back through we stopped in Atlanta at Blue Ox Trains. Was able to find some stuff down there for the scenery. And I looked for a few trains, but his selection was a little low on N-scale. Some of the stuff that he had I already had on the layout, so I delved into his scenery materials and was pleasantly shocked at how much he actually does have. If you're in the Atlanta area, this is a good place to stop. If you're HO modeler, he has got tons and tons and tons of HO stuff, so that definitely seems to be the scale he's after. The N-scale stuff, he does have some. Like I said, most of the stuff that he had, I already had on the layout as far as that goes. Building-wise, he had plenty down there. I was looking for some rolling stock or for an engine. I usually like trying to find some of these while I'm on vacation, just cars to remember the vacation by. But like I said, I had most of what he already had in stock there. So without further ado, let's take a look at what we got. All right. Welcome back, and as you can see, these are some of the things that I bought out of his shop. Got some of the pink Super Leafs. Now you're probably wondering, why in the world would you go with pink on the layout? Well, two reasons. One, you can do flowers with them, and you can also do pink dogwoods if you're modeling in spring. On the way back through, or on the way down and on the way back through, we were noticing all the spring colors and we fell in love with them. Hence why we got some red as well. You can also do flowers with those, and not only do the flowering, but you can also do red maples, Japanese red maples, and I wound up getting those for the spring colors. Went ahead and I delved into getting some graffiti. I've gotten some graffiti before and put them on some of the stuff. I'll show you a car here in a few minutes that has a little bit of graffiti on it that I've actually applied some of these stickers. But these are from Blair Line Laser Cut graffiti decals, and they do wonderful. So if you're looking to do graffiti without having to actually do your own, these are some that you can actually do. And if I am correct, I think when I was looking at these before, these are actually ones that they've seen on sides of buildings or sides of the railroad cars. But you can go in and you can get some of these laser cut ones and apply them within just a couple of minutes. So I went ahead and picked up 2 packs of those because I am doing modern layout. And with the modern layout, that requires doing modern looking things. So that was definitely one of the things that you can't get around if you're doing in the modern era. Even though I know most of the older gentlemen do not like to see graffiti on stuff. It's just part of it. That's what we model. We're trying to go as realistic as possible, so I had to get some of these. All right. Now on to the big box. We went ahead and got another box of Super Trees because the one that I have is almost completely gone. Now for N-scale, a box like this, it's about $30, and that box will actually do quite a few trees. Speaking of trees, I just recently built some of the fall trees. Still got to get some white for the white dogwoods, but on the trees, I went ahead and I did some over the weekend right after we gotten back. And I've now planted, and I will do a pan shot, 150 trees are now planted on Big G's Railroad. I went through yesterday and actually did a count after I installed a bunch of them. And I have 150 trees planted on the layout. That does not include bushes or shrubs that I have, just trees alone. So, as you can tell, there are quite a few trees. Done a lot. Got a couple neat scenes where they're going to be cutting through the trees. Or better yet, doing some switching right behind some trees. And I want it to kind of spruce this little edge of grass up right near the backdrop. So I'll be planting some more little seedlings right in there, and probably having that whole wall done with trees along the backdrop, just to break the monotony of the bright blue right there on the edge. But I like the way this little corner turned out. I also went ahead and made some of the spring trees, so you could see there's pink dogwood off in the back, some red maples back there. I got a pink dogwood right over here. And if you've never played around with the super leaf material, I really like the way it turns out, even for in scale. If I can get it to zoom or focus in. The leaf structure is just absolutely amazing, and it looks even good for in scale. Just to give you an idea, you can kind of make on the super leaf and the super trees, you can kind of make them to where you can kind of see through them really well. If you've wondered about possibly buying some of them and trying them out, I highly recommend them. They make wonderful trees. Definitely don't know that I'll ever do another tree that won't be a super tree. Just hard to beat a super tree. Look really amazing. And a lot of people will probably be like, well, why is your tree so tall on your layout? These are actually average height trees. I've got them varying in height, but the average tree actually is about 80 foot tall. So none of my trees are over the 80-foot mark. Matter of fact, most of them are within 60 or 70 feet. And that actually makes it look very realistic. Now, I do have some little saplings, kind of like this little fella right down here. He is just growing now. Because out in nature, you'll see random heights of trees. Kind of like what we have going on with this little grove right here. But back to the layout, or to the hobby store finds. So really hoping, like I said, that I was going to get some cars and some engines, but settled on scenery instead. And enjoyed what I got. So we'll see some of this stuff in progress. I'm glad you got to see some of the products of the super trees, the super leaf, and the horse turf red. As I get some of the graffiti on some of the cars, I'll show you those. But let's go and take a look at a graffiti car that I actually did on the layout. Not one out of that pack, but I bought them before. Got two of my auto wrecks over here that actually have them done. And they're very easy to apply. You can put some dull coat over the top of them, even after you've weathered a car, and it'll still turn out good. See if I can get it to focus here for you. There we go. Alright, there's one. And there's number 2. So that's an unweathered car. And then here we have this one on an actually light weathered, you can kind of see some of the streaks going down the side of it, a light weathered Rio Grande auto rack. But they turn out really nice, and you can apply them to not only cars, but you can do them to buildings, you can do them to retaining walls, which, speaking of, I'm going to possibly put 1 or 2 possibly on this wall here and have that. Just because I know that that would be tagged in the real life, because they're tagging just about anything and everything these days. And that would be a perfect location for somebody to come in and graffiti. So eventually that will have some graffiti done to it. And here's a shot with all 7 of the red maples that I have so far. And I think I've got about 4 or 5 of the pink dogwoods already. But it definitely added a lot of springtime colors, and me and the wife love the way it turned out. Hope you enjoy. And I will see you on the next video. Stay safe out there.